Hi, it's stream time. If there's only one thing you can be sure of, it's that right now we're streaming. I was thinking about, like, if I should be doing a thing where I go off and on, like I do 428 should be a scramble, then I go back to Mass Effect, then I do should be blah 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 blah, like off and on. But I decided that would drive me insane because I want to play this game more than I want to play 428, unfortunately. Which feels mean to say, but whatever. I need to post my link. I don't know. I'm greatly regretting the concept of ever streaming any video game I have not played before. It just feels like the dumbest shit in the universe. I don't know what compels me to do it all the time. Like, oh, I'll like playing this game I've never played before on stream. I'll enjoy this. I don't know. So anyways, I don't know why I even have this chat. Like, the OBS chat never updates when I have a new message. Fuck it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyways, we're gonna be doing really exciting stuff this stream, cause I have nothing but side quests in mind. Nothing but side quests. If it's not a side quest, it's not in mind. But unfortunately, I do have to go back to the Citadel. I'm not even saying that as a troll. I'm really not. I'm really not even trolling when I say that. Because there is one side quest I forgot to get while I was there. Although maybe I couldn't get it until now. Like, until after this cut. Like, we have the Normandy cutscene, but either way. It's just easier if I get all the side quests I can at the Citadel while I'm there, and then I just move on and do the side quests, and then we can come back and turn them in and whatever, have lots of fun romps in space.
Equalizing interior
right now, my Renegade off-stream playthrough has basically gotten to the point where I've done all possible side quests I can do off, like, until, like, without starting another, like, main mission, basically. So, worst case scenario... Well, not worst case scenario, I don't know words.
In a further development in the Eden Prime investigation,
that's at least I know what I'm doing up to that point. I mean, I know the main missions, too, obviously,
while the unnamed operative has not yet been
God, I'm so mad I went with this hair. This hair looks kind of ugly. Oh, this hair looks kind of ugly, and it's like, I didn't realize how ugly it would look. It makes me sad. Whatever. At least you can get a new body in Mass Effect 2. And then Mass Effect 3, you're just fucked. Is it Financial District? I want to say it's Financial District. Whatever. Developments have occurred off-screen where I've decided... Off-stream, rather, not screen, but what... I guess a stream is a screen is a stream is a screen. But, yeah, it was Financial District. This is what it's like to live as me, by the way. I have this many thoughts running at once. So...
Moment, Spectre. Hello, Spectre.
Whatever, I'll talk to her
proposition
first.
For you.
How do you know me?
How did you know I'm a Spectre?
Word travels. Your name comes up in certain
God,
circles.
my TV must be fucked because her skin looks so bad.
Crime bosses.
Like, it looks way redder than it should. And I probably should, like... I unironically should probably, like, fine-tune my TV right now so that way it looks better, but whatever. Anyway, this is Helena Blake. We're gonna listen to everything she has to say.
What kind of defenses would these two have?
Oh, that reminds me. I was gonna bite the bullet and start reading from the Codex.
Their partnership.
Oh man, am I gonna do that? I might honestly do that.
They will be
whatever.
Well prepared.
This is an obvious setup.
I eliminate them, and then you take over and try to eliminate me. How stupid do I look?
While I appreciate your estimation of my bravado, I have no intention of attempting to murder you.
Sorry, just...
You are
I'm not a nitpicky
Spectre,
asshole when it comes to, like, models and clipping and shit, because I know it's hard.
Sand or slavery.
I try to be understanding.
Our needs are aligned.
Her interests, sure.
And what do you get out of this?
We share interests in certain cooperative ventures.
It is so difficult to not skip this text,
their business practices have
for the
forced me to
purposes of a stream, for someone who
relationship.
wants to see this game.
Once they are dead, I will manage
There
our
you go.
organization in a more
Also, I just
tasteful
realized
manner.
my stream box is ever so slightly off center. Let me move it. There, is that better? Question mark? That is much better. Now I can't, now it's not like, whatever, it's better.
What crimes did these men commit?
They're red sand dealers who make victims of their customers. Those who can no longer pay are sold to Batarians as slaves. They're
Awesome.
loathsome, hurting innocent people.
Remember
They
how
must be
Batarians
ended.
have, like, no characterization besides they're evil? I mean, the Vorcha also get that, but they're not in this game, so... I've already done Dote, okay. I'll do it, fuck it.
If they're as bad as you say they are,
I mean, I don't want to be a paragon who's like, oh, I'll
Here are
never
the
help
coordinates.
the
When these men are
criminals.
dead,
Oh,
I will wait for you at the third set of coordinates.
whatever.
Goodbye, Commander. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
God, she looks so fucking terrified with that, like, I don't know, that look in her eyes. Anyway, now we can go back and start doing stuff. Anyway, oh yeah, I was gonna do, give me a second. I'll start reading from the Codex eventually. God help us all, by the way. But, as I was gonna say, sorry, I have something stuck in my teeth, so I'm, like, trying to... There, I got it, goddamn. I'm so hygienic. Anyways, so I was... Oh yeah, I can talk to the guy down here and get Spectre stuff, whatever. I do want to play Mass Effect and Dragon Age games on stream. I've decided I want to do a canon... Well, not canon, like a main Dragon Age playthrough on stream. Because I have worms in my brain, quite literally. But, whatever.
Show me what you got.
Sounds good.
So yeah, no, this
Let me
guy
set
freaks
you up.
out.
Well, this must be a mistake. System's telling me to offer you our select stock. Spectre? Well, I heard about that, but I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, Commander.
Just show me what you got.
I'm sure none of those
I'll
options
rare stocks
differ
for you,
like
Commander.
at all. I'm sure.
Enjoy.
I said I'm sure twice in that sentence. Anyway, this guy sells stuff, but if you buy the license from him, I'm pretty sure your guy in the Normandy who sells you stuff will also start selling this. Fun fact: I have so much money on my Renegade character, I literally don't know what to do with it. Like, I've literally been able to buy all these things from after just doing the basic first, like, wave of side quests. So, I'm expecting I'll reach that point sooner or later with this character, too. Granted, I do need Omni tools on this character, and I don't on my other one, because he's not, he's just a soldier. Because I've never played as just a soldier, because he always sounded really boring to me, but... is there literally any difference there? Oh, you get 3 more cooldown. Okay. Forgive me. Yeah, all of these are... None of these are that useful to me. Blue wire tool... Tech cooldown... That's not even worth it. Whatever. Do I have stuff I could sell? I do. I probably am not going to use this, so let's sell it. Bye. Alright, oh yeah, isn't there a quest I can do with What's-Her-Dick, too? Oh my god, did I do that on this character? I can check right now. Journal. No, yeah, I was in journal, actually. Did I do that? It doesn't look like I did it, because it's Michelle, and she's being, like, Michelle gets blackmailed, so if I go to Michelle's, thing, I should be able to walk in on her getting blackmailed. Cool. I love wasting time, don't you guys? Don't you guys? None of this matters, by the way. It matters to me, and that's what matters. Anyways. Okay, so now is she gonna be talking? Yeah, no, she's not. Did I already do this and I just forgot?
I never properly thanked you for... I don't know what would have
Oh,
happened
do I have
if
to
you
do
hadn't.
this? Then I have to, like, leave her alone?
I'm just glad you weren't.
Me too.
Okay,
I'll be going.
okay.
Goodbye,
I'm gonna skip her
Commander.
dialogue because I feel like I've already talked to her.
Yes, Commander. Is there something I
Whatever.
can do for you?
How did you end
You're
up
a
on the
doctor.
Citadel? I didn't
My-
want to work
my-
with the military.
I chose to keep the medical
Queen.
tradition alive.
No
I'll be
one
going.
should.
Goodbye, Commander.
Okay. Okay. Thank God the load times are so fucking quick in this version, by the way. Because those load screens would take like 30 seconds minimum. Okay, let's go back to the Presidium now. Who cares? Who fucking cares where we go in the Presidium? I just need a load screen. See, look, this will be like 5 more seconds. There we go. Exactly. So much quicker. So much better. Anyways, so now we go back. We go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. Is there ever going to be a time in my life where I don't say that? Am I ever going to, like, evolutionarily overcome that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, now if I walk in on you, will you be watching vids on the internet? Yes, there you are. Ha 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 ha. Hi.
I need those supplies for my clinic. I can't.
You can and you will, or your story won't stay secret for long.
I just realized, is my GV
Don't
USB
disappoint me,
muted?
Doctor.
My GV USB 2 was muted.
Oh, Commander
Was that
Shepard,
last
I didn't see you
stream?
come in.
Was that last stream no audio? Oh my god, if that if that Phantasy Star Online stream had no audio, I might go insane. No, it's never mind. It wouldn't have been. Someone would have mentioned something. You need some help?
Every time I come in here.
Sorry,
see
I just got
someone threatening
paranoid
me.
out of nowhere,
Who was that?
Someone from
as
my
I
past.
often do.
I can take care of it.
I might be able to help you.
I was fired by my previous employer for giving out free medical supplies to clinics like this.
I never
They
found
never
this in the
filed
original
any
game, by the
charges.
way.
They just
I only
wanted me
found
to
out about
leave
this
without
side
any
quest because
fuss.
I watched Woolly's
But
stream,
somebody must
and
have
Reggie
found
ended
out.
up finding this.
Now they are blackmailing
quest.
me. I
It's
have
not
to
very
give
interesting
them what
either, to
they
be
want.
fair. So
If the board finds out about my past,
the Shell is
I
not a
could lose
very
my
compelling
license.
character,
They'll
I fear.
shut my clinic down.
I love how the two options are no, even though I asked. I love that. I can help.
Maybe I can get you out of this. Tell me what they want.
I have to give some of my medical supplies to a merchant in the markets. They expect
Cool.
delivery today.
I'll help you.
Give me your contact's name. I'll deal with this guy, whoever he is.
I'll
Deal
handle
with him,
this.
But won't they expose my past?
I'll make sure they don't tell anyone.
I was told to speak with a merchant named Morlan down in the markets.
All right.
I really appreciate this, Commander. Thank you.
All right. Let's go.
Don't worry, I'll take care of this.
Good luck, Commander. Be careful down there.
God, I still have to do the fucking Codex, and I need to talk to my party members. Well, companions, whatever. Squad mates. Mateses. Anyway, let's run to the market. I probably could take the fast travel, but I'm sure it takes just as long. So, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. That's the motto of this stream. Nothing matters. Can you open? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, did I already... I dealt with Conrad and Werner for now, right? Yeah, I totally did. I totally did. Alright, Morlan. Where are you? You fiend? You scoundrel?
Hello there. Welcome to Morland's famous
I'm
shop.
here about
You
Dr.
want many
Michelle.
good supplies, yes?
You were expecting a delivery of medical supplies.
But I was told the doctor would be bringing them.
Change of plans.
A change, but the doctor... I don't... This is not right, human.
Shut up, Morlan. I told Baines you'd screw this up.
Not
What the hell's going on
Baines.
here? Who are you?
Leave the doctor alone.
Again, I don't feel like that dialogue
We
choice
can end
mattered.
this
She
if
would have
you
said
just
that no
bring
matter
me
what,
those
but whatever.
supplies. Otherwise, I'll start telling people about the doctor's little secret.
You're shutting down a medical clinic. What if someone
That's
needs
really
treatment?
gonna work?
What if
That's
you need
the argument that's gonna work?
Hey, hold on.
Wow,
I'm
that
just a
actually
middleman
worked.
here.
That's a very
This
bad
is way more than I
argument.
bargained for.
He says the same exact thing if you threaten his life or whatever.
Thank you,
but
human. It is good
whatever.
to see him humbled so.
What do you know about Baines?
I can't believe
I
that
never met him,
argument
human.
actually worked.
I only worked with the one who spoke with the doctor.
What do you know
What
about
do you know
Baines?
about Baines?
I never met him. I don't think. What do you know about Baines?
I only work
What
with
do
the
you
one
know
who-
about Baines?
I
What
have
do you
never met-
fucking know about Baines? Okay, I'm
I
being
am-
dumb. Sorry.
What do you know about... Goodbye.
I'm in a weird
Yes,
mood.
all right then. Good tidings.
I'm
to
like
you, human.
tired, but I'm also like, I guess, not tired. Wow, the duality of humanity right there. I don't know. I'm not gonna get any viewers this stream, and I've accepted it. I've accepted it. This is like, what, my third Mass Effect stream? And the person I'm streaming this game for still hasn't shown up, I think. So, you know, whatever. No, it's not that I'm like, they have to, but it's like, they wanted me to stream this game. It's like, okay, what if I stream this game now? Are you gonna, whatever. Oh, Kaiden just teleported there. I need to stop calling him Kaiden. It's Caden. Like, the characters in this game call him Caden. I need to just call him Caden. It's so hard not to call him Kaiden, though. It does kind of look like Kaiden, I must admit. I must admit.
Commander, how did things go?
He won't be bothering you anymore.
Really? That's a great relief, Commander. Thank
Cool.
you. I can't pay you for your help, but I can give you a
Cool.
discount on any supplies you purchase here.
The thug said he worked for a man named Baines. Sound familiar?
Baines? I wonder if he means Armiston Baines. We worked together a long time ago.
What can you tell me about him?
Last I heard, the Alliance military was contracting him for some research in the Traverse.
Cool.
Captain Anderson might know him.
We'll see what the
Oh, I
captain
forgot
can
I have
tell
to
us.
actually talk to Captain
I wish I
Anderson
could
now,
tell you
too.
more. Is
Do
there
you sell
anything
anything
else I
good?
can help you with, Commander?
I don't think you
Let
do.
me take a look at what you have for
I
sale.
don't think
Of
you
course.
do. Yeah, you don't. I don't give a shit about any of this. Why would I give a shit about this? Actually, that's not too bad, to be honest, but I don't care. Whatever. Okay, now let's talk to Captain Anderson. Let's talk to Captain Fun. I wanted to play this game, by the way. I was excited to play this game again on stream. Listen to me and how excited I am. God, my stream layout is so fucking bad. Just truly rancid. Anyways, where's Captain Anderson? Come on. He should be in his office unless things have changed greatly since I left. There you are.
Yes, Commander?
Baines. There's Baines.
What do you know about Armiston Baines?
Where did you hear that name? Never mind, I don't want to know. Baines is dead. Has been for quite some time.
The people I spoke with seemed to think he was still alive.
It's not common knowledge. Military's keeping it under wraps.
Sure.
Baines was doing some high-level work for the Alliance. Stuff even I wasn't aware of. One day he turns up dead on a drifting scout ship. Everyone suspects it was foul play, but it was never officially investigated.
Scout ship, sure.
What can you tell me about the ship?
I don't know much about it. You should talk to Admiral Kahoku. One of his crews discovered Baines' body.
I spoke to Kahoku. He never brought it up.
Cool.
You should mention Baines the next time you see him. See if he'll tell
I knew
you.
this part was coming.
Is there
I just
anything
forgot
else,
you had
Commander?
to talk to Anderson first. I thought Michelle mentioned Kahoku, but nope. Alright, bye.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need me.
Bye. Okay. Now we go to Citadel Tower. Hooray. Thrilling times at this stream. Wow, it's already been 20 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Ah, well. Okay, choose blah, 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 blah. Presidium, Citadel Tower. This loading screen does look nice, I will admit. It's just... I don't know. I don't know. I'm complaining too much. But I love to complain, so that's just my nature. Okay, Kahoku, spill the fucking beans.
No, I'm waiting. Commander, any luck finding my recon group?
Captain Anderson said you had information on Baines.
Not as much as I'd like to. One of my crews found him, frozen stiff on board a derelict vessel. The missing recon group? The one I sent you to find? They were scouting the system we found Baines' ship in.
I love how I could just say bye.
You should have mentioned this earlier, Admiral.
Why?
Baines is already dead.
Yeah, if he's dead, what does it matter?
I'm only concerned about my team. Someone has to find them. Please, Shepard, I'm counting on you.
Anyways, now we can finally fucking leave. Yeah, I'm going to Wards, and then I go to CSEC. And then when I'm on the Normandy, that's when I'll start reading the Codex. And then I'll hang myself. I would have to be more dramatic than that. Thought for a second that was Garrus. This generic NPC totally has like Garrus's model, just with like different face marking. Can I follow you? Can I stalk you? Hi. Man, I really want to like Garrus, but I don't know.
In light of the
I hate to be that person, but the Twitter user who said that Garrus is basically a fash cop, not wrong. Definitely a little bit of truth to that one.
Nevertheless, colonists.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can do this too, by the way. Alright, now let's go. Boop, 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 boop. Fortunately, doing side quests in this game will be easier than doing them in vanilla.
Stand by,
in the original. Because this game makes a very critical quality of life change in that when you kill enemies in the Mako, it gives you the full experience in this
The commanding officer is aboard.
Because it did not do that
stands relieved.
in previous versions. Okay. So let's start reading the Codex, fuck it. Oh my god. Okay, this we already know. But I'll read it anyway. You were born on Earth, but you never knew your parents. A child of the streets, you learned to live by your wits and guts, surviving in the hidden underbelly of the megatropolises. I don't know why that was a weird word to say. Of humanity's homeworld. Eager to find a better life, you joined the Alliance military when you came of age. You volunteered for an expedition to Akuz, a lush world on the outskirts of the Alliance space that had suddenly dropped out of contact. Arriving on the surface, your patrol found the settlement intact, but no survivors. At nightfall, the Thresher Maws struck. Mindless abominations of teeth and tentacles, that rose up from beneath the earth. Constant gunfire couldn't drown out the shrieks of your fellow soldiers as they were dragged down to a gruesome death. 50 Marines died on Akuz. You were the only one to make it back to the landing zone alive. A monument on the planet commemorates the massacre, a grim reminder of the price humanity must pay as they spread through the stars. Cool. Alright. Let's get ready for this. After the Rachni War, the quick-breeding Krogan expanded at the expense of their neighbors. Warlords leveraged their veteran soldiers to seize living space, while the Council races were still grateful. I said council weird. Over centuries, the Krogan conquered world after world. There was always just one more needed. When the Council finally demanded withdrawal from the Asari colony of Lucia, Krogan overlord Kredak, stormed off the Citadel, daring the Council to take their worlds back. But the Council had taken precautions. The finest STG operators and Asari huntresses had been drafted into a covert observation force, the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. The Spectres opened the war with crippling strategic strikes. Krogan planets went dark as computer viruses flooded the extranet. Why? You know, I just realized, I guess it is called the extranet instead of the internet, because it's like, it's going out, whatever. Sabotaged antimatter refineries disappeared in blue-white annihilation. Jesus fuck. Headquarters station shattered into orbit clogging debris rammed by pre-placed suicide freighters. Cool. Still, this only delayed the inevitable. The war would have lost if not for first contact with the Turians, who responded to Krogan threats with a prompt declaration of war. Being on the far side of Krogan space from the Council, the Turians advanced rapidly into the lightly defended Krogan rear areas. The Krogan responded by dropping space stations and asteroids on Turian colonies. Jesus. 3 worlds were rendered completely uninhabitable. They don't fuck around, huh? This was precisely the wrong approach to take with the Turians. Each is first and foremost a public servant willing to risk his life to protect his comrades. Rather than increasing public war weariness, Krogan tactics stiffen Turian resolve. Okay, I mean, I don't see how that's the wrong move. You're still killing bunches of them. Whatever, fuck it. I'm not a warlord. The arrival of Turian task forces saved many worlds from the warlords' marauding fleets, but it took development of the genophage bioweapon to end the war. There were decades of unrest afterwards. Rogue warlords and holdout groups of insurgents refused to surrender or disappeared into the frontier systems to become pirates. Cool. When Quarians of the migrant fleet reach young adulthood, they must leave their birth ship and find a new crew to accept them as permanent residents. To prove themselves, they must recover something of value. This is offered to their prospective captain as proof that they will not be a mere burden on the shoestring resources of the ship. This progress is called the pilgrimage. Stripped of ritual, the pilgrimage is merely an attempt to maintain genetic diversity within the small, relatively isolated population bases that make up the migrant fleet. If the young stayed and married within their birth vessel, the risk of inbreeding would increase sharply. Fair enough, fair enough. I like these Codex entries, don't get me wrong. So, they're explaining how you avoid shit like that. Quarians are surgically fitted with their various immunity-boosting implants in preparation for leaving on the pilgrimage. Having grown up within the sterile, controlled environments of the migrant fleet ships, Quarians have virtually no natural immune system. Cool. Alright, we've got all these to go through. Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, I guess I'm gonna assume I hadn't read this one, because, yeah. Alright. These diplomatic talks occurred in the wake of Krogan rebellions as a response to the destruction of the conflict and an attempt to distance the Council from the brutal Krogan warfare. The conventions regulate the use of weapons of mass destruction. A WMD causes environmental alteration to the world. A bomb that produces a large crater is not considered a WMD. A bomb that causes a nuclear winter in the Mojave Desert is. Use of WMD is forbidden on guarding worlds like Earth with ecospheres that can readily support a population. If a habitable world is destroyed, it will not be replaced for millions of years. The conventions do not forbid the use of WMD on hostile worlds or in sealed space station environments. Many militaries continue to develop and maintain stockpiles. Jesus, that's bleak. I guess that is realistic, whatever. The conventions graded weapons of mass destruction into tiers of concern. Tier 1 is the greatest threat to galactic peace. Tier 1. Large kinetic impactors, such as asteroid drops or deorbiting space stations. Effectively free and available in any system in the form of debris left over from planetary accretion. Kinetic impactors are the weapon of choice for terrorists and third galaxy nations. Huh. They also have, like, third world, but third whatever, fuck it. Tier 2. Uncontrolled self-replicating weapons such as nanotechnology, viral or bacteriological organisms, von Neumann devices, and destructive computer viruses. These weapons can lie dormant for millennia, waiting for a careless visitor to carry them onto another world. Everyone having fun? Tier 3. Large energy burst weapons such as nuclear or antimatter warheads. Tier 4. I just realized I'm gonna have to do these fucking Codex entries for Dragon Age Origins. Oh my god, fuck. Whatever. Tier 4. Alien species deliberately introduced to crowd out native forms necessary for the health of an ecosystem. Ecological tampering can take years to bear fruit, making it difficult to prove. Citadel security is... okay, sorry, my brain's just like turning off. Citadel Security is a volunteer police service answering to the Citadel Council. The 200,000 constables of CSEC are responsible for maintaining public order in the densely populated Citadel. They also provide pirate suppression, customs enforcement, and search and rescue throughout the Citadel cluster. CSEC has 6 divisions. Enforcement. Uniformed officers who patrol the Citadel and respond to emergencies. Investigation. Detectives who puzzle out the truth behind crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. Customs. Screens the thousands of passengers and cargo containers that pass through the Citadel's ports every day. For some reason, that sentence structure like fucked with my brain a bit. Network. Excuse me. Deals with cyber crimes like identity and copyright theft, hacking and viral attacks, and illegal artificial intelligence. Special response. Deals with hostage situations, bombs, and heavily armed criminals. In the unlikely event that attackers board the Citadel, they are also the front line of defense, armed with military-grade equipment. Patrol. Oh my god, can we get this over with? Naval arm, with ships stationed throughout the Citadel cluster. Navalry. Does naval not refer to the sea? I'm so ignorant about this. Whatever. Unlike the other divisions, they are rarely seen at the Citadel, nor do they stay in one place for long. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Applications must be sponsored by a Citadel counselor or the ambassador of an associate council race. Generally, applicants have many years of distinguished service in the military or police forces of their nation, but an inexperienced applicant, with demonstrable talent will be fairly considered. CSEC inspectors are often at odds. Many CSEC members, notably current executor Venari Palin, believe that allowing inspectors to be above the law is a dangerous practice. The actions of Sarah Narturius lend credence. I lost my place there for a second. Lend credence to this position. The Spectres, in turn, are aggravated when CSEC's dedication to procedure and due process hampers their investigations. It kind of sucks that CSEC is always seen as, like, I don't know, like, oh, you're stifling the pursuit of justice, when it's like, whatever, fuck it. It's propaganda. What's new? Okay, Citadel Station, Presidium Ring. I probably should be reading these headings too, but fuck it, we're going in. The ring is an enclosed loop of park-like space serving as a connection point for the wards. The interior walls are lined with the embassies of influential species and private residences for the galaxy's elite. The Presidium is full of open-air restaurants, bars, and luxurious meeting areas. Gravity is about 1/3 Earth normal. A holographic sky is projected over the ceiling of the ring. Unlike 24/7 bustle of the wards, the Presidium maintains a 20-hour-a-day schedule with a 6-hour night where lights are dimmed and the sky goes through a night cycle. That would drive me fucking insane, I must be honest. Offices and residences are often open to the interior. It is not unusual for embassies to have no exterior wall at all. This does not cause a crime problem due to the heavy CSEC presence and ubiquitous monitoring devices on the Presidium. Thieves are quickly identified and apprehended. There we go. The Ring, 2003, is the location of the Citadel spaceports. Being closer to the center of the spin, there's less motion for a ship to match, and the reduced spin gravity makes handling cargo easier. Hundreds of ships pass through the Citadel every day, and every species with an embassy is granted a private dock. The tower, at the center of the ring, holds the administration of the Citadel Council. The tower rises over a kilometer from the ring, appearing to thrust forward parallel to the ward arms. As the tower is at the center of the spin axis, it experiences little centrifugal force. Gravity is maintained using mass effect fields at a 90-degree angle to the ring and wards. A consular dock can be found at the base of the tower. While normally used for diplomatic couriers and spectre businesses, the shuttles docked here can evacuate the council government in an emergency. We're getting there. We're getting there. Citadel Station, Serpulent. Yeah, whatever. Serpent Nebula. The Citadel. Sorry, I'm gonna try to stop complaining. The Citadel is surrounded by a blue-tinted reflection nebula. The light of the nebula is actually light from the Citadel, scattered and reflected back at the station. At first, the Serpent Nebula was assumed to be made of microscopic construction debris. Prevailing theory holds that the Protheans used molecular nanotechnology to manufacture the incredibly durable materials used in the Citadel. But, unlike other nebulae, I'll say, the Serpent does not dissipate over time. Therefore, it must be replenished constantly. The current popular theory is that non-recyclable waste collected by the Citadel Keepers is somehow rendered down to the atomic or molecular level and ejected into the cloud. That's a very cool thing I wish the games mentioned more often. I didn't know that's what Keepers could potentially be doing. That's so cool. The thick nebula presents a navigation hazard. Beyond the relatively clear areas around the Council, electrical discharges are common. These are not blocked by kinetic barriers and can severely damage metal-framed starships. In addition, some dense knots of rust can overwhelm the repulsion of kinetic barriers on smaller ships. If such a vessel is moving fast enough at the time, the effects are similar to being hit by a sandblaster. Attempting to reach the Citadel through open space navigation is unadvisable. The only safe approach is through the various mass relays that orbit it. That's really weird. I didn't realize the Citadel was, like, kind of in the middle of this, like, pseudo-electrical storm. Like, goddamn. That makes this so much cooler. The fact that this is hidden in lore entries, goddamn. How much other shit is here? Whatever. Citadel Station Wards. The majority of the Citadel's population lives in the wards, the 5 massive arms of the station that house the residential and commercial districts. Many galactic races have established culture enclaves here. Population density and cost of living are extremely high, akin to Earth cities such as Hong Kong and Singapore. The wards are open-topped, with skyscrapers rising from the superstructure. Towers are sealed against vacuum, as the breathable atmosphere envelope is only maintained to a height of about 7 meters. The atmosphere is contained by the centrifugal force of rotation and a membrane of dense, colorless sulfur hexafluoride gas, held in place by carefully managed mass effect fields. The view from the wards is spectacular. In the background, stars, Serpent Nebula, and the blue giant called the Widow move across the sky as the station rotates to stabilize itself. In the foreground, sorry, I lost my place. In the foreground, the lights of buildings and vehicles on the opposing ward arms perpetually shine. The Citadel has no real day or night. While the station keeps to standard galactic time for political functions, businesses rarely close and residents acclimate to sleep and work according to personal need rather than a day-night cycle. Oh shit, fuck. Where was I? Okay. Additions and modifications are constantly being constructed, though they must stay within certain specifications that will not compromise the operation of the station. Occasionally, the Keepers will descend on an area of the wards and move or change the architecture without explanation. Residents have learned to live with these inexplicable intrusions. That's also kind of cool, but that would be very fucking annoying to live with, I must confess. Treaty of Ferrixon. Due to the destructive potential of dreadnoughts, the Council races agreed at the Ferrixon Naval Conference to fix a ratio of dreadnought construction between themselves. At the top of the pyramid is the peacekeeping Turian fleet. Below the Turians are other Council races, currently the Asari Salarians. What? Sorry, I keep blanking out. Clearly it's because I have a drug issue. I don't know where that came from. Council associate races are at the bottom. The Human System Alliance is part of this last group. The ratio of Turian to Council to associate dreadnoughts is 5 to 3 to 1. For every dreadnought humans are permitted to build, the Asari have 3 and the Turians have 5. Cool. Fuck. I'll read this now because I feel like I didn't read it before. The development of practical manufacturing omnitools allows modern militaries a great deal of flexibility in equipment loadouts. A vast number of field modification kits or upgrades are available for common equipment such as weapons, armor, omnitools, biotic amps, and even grenades. An upgrade kit typically consists of less than a dozen unique parts and an optical storage disk. When loaded into an Omnitool, the OSD provides all technical specifications required to manufacture the tools and additional parts necessary to install the upgrade onto another piece of equipment. Assembly is typically modular, and installation can be completed in less than a minute. Since Omnitools are designed to use common battlefield salvage materials such as plastics, ceramics, and light metals, rendered into semi-molten omnigel for quick use, it is quite possible for a trained soldier carrying upgrade kits to customize gear on the battlefield to fit the current tactical situation. Hooray. That's enlightening. Okay. Ashore. When a ship's crew leaves the vessel, they are ashore. Though normally used regarding planets, it can refer to boarding a space station. Away. When a ship releases the equipment tethering it to a space station or surface dock, it is away. Aye, aye. The proper way to acknowledge an order. If told to attack, the correct response is aye, aye, sir. If asked, are you proud to be a Marine, the correct response is yes, sir. Well, why yes there? Whatever, fuck it. ASAP. Pronounced ASAP, an acronym of as soon as possible. Belay. Stop. Cease. Bridge. The navigation center of a spacecraft where the steering is done. Captain's Mast. Non-judicial disciplinary proceedings by unit commanders. CIC. Combat Information Center. The command center of a spacecraft. The CIC is filled with sensor displays to make sense out of the chaos of combat. DC. Damage Control. The containment and repair of damage to a spacecraft. There's one for every fucking letter, isn't there? Whatever. ECM, electronic countermeasures used to avoid enemy sensors, from passive emissions to masking active jamming. EVA, extravehicular activity, time spent in a pressure suit outside of a vehicle, spacecraft, or station. Flank. The flank is the side of a military formation. Since the soldiers are facing elsewhere, an enemy that can attack on the flank will often turn it up or roll it up. FNG, fucking new guys, a derisive term for inexperienced personnel. Groundside, the surface of a planet. Helmsman, the crew member who pilots a spacecraft. Radar, light amplified detection and ranging. An active sensor that bounces lasers off an object to determine its bearing and distance. Radar has sufficient resolution that the data can be reconstructed into an image. Shore party. Spacecraft crews sent ashore on official business. Silent running. An old submariner's term used aboard the Normandy to denote when stealth systems are active. Sitrep? Sitrep? It's Sitrep. Okay. Abbreviation of Situation Report. An evaluation of the current military situation. Spacer. Someone who spent most of their life in space. XO. Executive Officer, the second in command of an Alliance warship. The XO is responsible for administrative and personnel matters. You know, that reminds me. It's not really important, but I wonder how, if you've spent your life in space, wouldn't your bones have, wouldn't they be weaker? Because, you've been subjected to less gravity? I don't know. Maybe there's a lore entry that explains it. I don't know. The Alliance uses a modified version of the ranking system that has been used for hundreds of years. Soldiers are classified into rank-and-file enlisted personnel, experienced non-commissioned officers, NCOs, and specially trained officers. The divide between naval personnel and ground forces, Marines, is small. Ground units are a specialized branch of the fleet, just as fighter squadrons are. This unity of command is imposed by the futility of fighting without control of orbit. Without the Navy, any army is pointless. The Marines, as a matter of pride, maintain some of their traditional rank titles. For example, Marines have privates and corporals instead of servicemen. In ascending order of responsibility, the ranks of the Alliance are, oh my god, enlisted, servicemen 3rd class, private 2nd class, servicemen 2nd class, private 1st class, servicemen 1st class, corporal, NCOs, service chief, gunnery chief, operation chief. So Ashley's gunnery chief, I believe. Whatever. Officers, 2nd lieutenant, 1st lieutenant, staff lieutenant, lieutenant commander, staff commander, captain major, rear admiral general, admiral, fleet admiral. Okay. We're almost there, maybe. No, we're not. Okay, never mind. Never the fuck mind. Alright, FTL drive appearance. New space travelers ask, what does it look like outside a ship moving faster than light speed? Part of the answer can be seen in a simple pane of glass. Light travels slower through glass than it does through open air. Light also travels slower in conventional space than it does in high-speed mass effect field. This causes refraction. Any light entering an angle, or at an angle, is bent and separated into a spectrum. Objects outside the ship will appear refracted. The greater the difference between the objective exterior and subjective interior speeds of light, the greater the refraction. As the subjective speed of light is raised within the field, objects outside will appear to redshift, eventually becoming only visible to radio telescope antennae. High-energy electromagnetic sources, normally hidden to the eye, become visible in the high blue spectrum. As the speed of light continues to be raised, X-ray, gamma ray, and eventually cosmic ray sources become visible. Stars will be replaced by pulsars, the accretion disks of black holes, quasars, and gamma ray bursts. So we can't see any of this in game, unfortunately, but just trust me, bro. I guess to be fair, we kind of see it with like the Mass Effect, like in terms of when you see the ship, whatever, fuck it. To an outside observer, a ship within a Mass Effect drive envelope appears blue shifted. If within a field that allows you to travel at twice the speed of light, any radiation it emits has twice the energy as normal. Makes sense. If the ship is in a field of about 200 times the light speed, it radiates visible light as X-rays and gamma rays, and the infrared heat from the hull is blue shifted up to the visible spectrum or higher. Ships moving at FTL are visible at great distances, though their signature will only propagate at the speed of light. Starships, crew considerations, hooray. Will this go into the thing about bone density? Whatever. Cabins give each individual 10 cubic meters of space. On larger vessels, private rooms are common. As ships get smaller, the number of crew packed into a single wardroom increases. Asari prefer shared spaces even on larger vessels, while Krogan territorial instincts make it impossible for them to cohabitate even on the smallest ships. That's kind of funny, I must admit. I wonder if Rex is doing that right now. If he's like, hey, that's my fucking seat. Whatever. On smaller vessels, hot bunking is the norm. Crew members assigned to different watches share the same bunk. When one gets off duty, he wakes up the person in the bunk. While that crewman is on duty, the first gets his rack time. Spacecraft compartments can be isolated by air. Why is it like, okay? Sorry, I keep being distracted by the fact that it's like very ever so slightly scrolling whenever I'm trying to read. Whatever. It can be isolated by airtight doors in case of decompression. The cinematic vision of explosive decompression is fiction. Hold compartments either take enough damage that occupants are killed instantly, or leak slowly enough that they are able to reach protective gear. Cool. Compartments are equipped with emergency life support apparatus. The fireproof plastic bubbles with air bottles. Small when stowed, Elsa, comfortably accommodate one individual inflated. Damage control procedure cuts off ventilation to burning compartments. Without oxygen to consume, fire dies in seconds. The compartment is, Mass Effect 2 would say otherwise with that one, but whatever. The compartment is repressurized afterwards for crew recovery. Mass Effect fields create an artificial gravity, A-grav, plane below the decks, preventing muscle atrophy and bone... Okay, here we go. Let me read that one more time so I actually comprehend it. Mass Effect fields create an artificial gravity plane below the decks, preventing muscle atrophy and bone loss in 0G. Large vessels arrange their decks perpendicular to their thrust axis. The highest decks are at the bow, and the lowest are at the engines. This allows A-grav to work with the inertial effects of thrust. Ships that can land arrange their decks laterally so the crew can move about while the vessel is on the ground. Okay, that's interesting. It doesn't necessarily answer all my questions, but they acknowledge that it's a question to be asked, and that's good enough for me. Warships normally turn off their A-grav systems during combat, reducing the heat generated by systems and increasing combat endurance. To provide a point of reference for navigating in 0G, floors are painted a different color from the walls and ceiling. That's helpful. Starship cruisers. Cruiserweight starships are the standard combat unit encountered away from large naval bases, the poor bloody infantry of most fleets. Nimble scouting frigates have neither the punch nor the stamina to stand up to serious combat, and the mighty dreadnoughts are a strategic resource, carefully hoarded and committed to the most critical battles. Makes sense, I guess, but why would you even have cruisers at that point? Whatever. Cruisers perform routine independent show the flag patrols in settled systems and lead flotillas of frigates in small engagements, such as pirate suppression campaigns. In major fleet engagements, cruiser squadrons support the dreadnought battle line by screening their flanks against enemies attempting to maneuver for a main gun bow shot from their vulnerable broadsides. Alliance cruisers are named after cities of Earth. Neat. Starships, dreadnoughts. Okay, I'm gonna read Starship sensors because I figure I probably need to. The dreadnought is the ultimate arbiter of space warfare. How long have I been reading this, by the way? It feels like I've been reading this for like 20 minutes at least. Probably more. Ultimate arbiter of space warfare. Millions of tons of metal, ceramic, and polymer dedicated to the projection of firepower against an enemy vessel of like ability. No sane commander would face a dreadnought with anything less than another dreadnought. A dreadnought's power lies in the length of its main gun. Dreadnought range from 800 meters to 1 kilometer long, with one main gun of commensurate length. An 800 meter mass accelerator is capable of accelerating one 2 kilogram slug to a velocity of 283 kilometers per second every 2 seconds. Each slug has the kinetic energy of 38 kilotons of TNT, 3 times the energy released by the fission weapon that destroyed Hiroshima. When used to bombard planets, some of this kinetic energy is lost due to atmospheric reentrant friction. As a rule of thumb, each Earth atmosphere of air pressure saps approximately 20% of a projectile's impact energy. The Turian fleet has presently 37 dreadnoughts, the Asari 21, and the Salarians 16. Humanity has 6, with an additional hull under construction at Arcturus Station. Alliance battleships are named for mountains of Earth. Everest classed Everest, Fuji, Elbrus. That is an L, right? Yeah, whatever. Kilimanjaro class. Kilimanjaro, Taishan, Shasta, Aconcagua under construction. Cool. Starships, fighters, are we having fun? Fighters are single-pilot combat small craft. They are lightweight enough that they can be economically fitted with powerful Element 0 cores, making them capable of greater acceleration and sharper maneuvers than starships. Kinetic Barrier shields change starship battles from short, vicious bloodbaths to extended, indecisive slugging matches. Only the main gun of a dreadnought could punch a mass accelerator slug through the barriers of an opposing dreadnought. This changed with the development of the fighter-launched mass disruptor torpedo, a short-range weapon that can penetrate kinetic barriers to destroy their projector assemblies. Starship Guardian. Why you couldn't find a U to fit in there? You couldn't add in like Ultra? Whatever. Guardian defenses must be overwhelmed through swarm tactics. Fighter groups can take heavy casualties pressing their tornado. You could tell I've been reading this for too long when I'm starting to mess up stuff like that. Torpedo attacks home. Once fighter-launched torpedoes have crippled an enemy's barriers, the mass accelerators on frigates and cruisers can make short work of them. Interceptors are a type of fighter optimized to attack other fighters, with no ability to damage warships or starships. Interceptors are used to screen friendly units from incoming fighter attack. Sensors, here we go. Light lag prevents sensing in real time at great distances. A ship firing its thrusters at the Charon relay can easily be detected from Earth 5.75 light hours, 6 billion kilometers away. But Earth will only see the events 5 hours and 45 minutes after it occurs. Makes sense. Due to the light speed limit, defenders can't see enemies coming until they have already arrived. Because there is FTL travel and communications but no FTL sensors, frigates are crucial for scouting and picket duties. Passive sensors are used for long-range detection, while active sensors obtain short-range, high-quality targeting data. Passive sensors include visual, thermographic, and radio detectors that watch and listen for objects in space. A powered ship emits a great deal of energy. The heat of life supports systems. The radiation given off by power plants and electrical equipment. The exhaust of the thrusters. Starships stand out plainly against the near absolute zero background of space. Passive sensors can be used during FTL travel, but incoming data is significantly distorted by the effects of the mass effect envelope and Doppler shift. Active sensors are radars and high-resolution LiDARs, laser detection and ranging, that emit a ping of energy and listen for return signals. LiDARs have a narrower field of view than radar, but LiDAR resolution allows images to be detected, images of detected objects, to be assembled. Active sensors are useless when a ship is moving at FTL speeds. We're getting there. Starship Thrusters. A Mass Effect drive core decreases the mass of a bubble of space-time around a ship. This gives the ship the potential to move quickly, but does not apply any motive power. Ships use their sublight thrusters for motive power at FTL. There are several varieties of thruster varying in performance versus economy. All ships are equipped with arrays of hydrogen-oxygen reaction control thrusters for maneuvering. God damn it. Ion drives electronically accelerate charged particles as a reaction mass. They are extremely efficient but produce negligible thrust. They are mainly used for automated cargo barges. The primary commercial engine is a fusion torch, which prevents the plasma of the ship's power plant. Fusion torches offer powerful acceleration at the cost of difficult heat management. Torch fuel is fairly cheap. Helium-3 skinned from gas giants and deuterium, I'm gonna assume. I'm assuming that seems like a deuterium. Whatever. Deuterium extracted from seawater or cometary bodies. Propellant is hydrogen, likewise skinned from gas giants. In combat, military vessels require accelerations beyond the capabilities of fusion torches. Warship thrusters inject antiprotons into a reaction chamber filled with hydrogen. This matter-antimatter annihilation provides unmatched motive power. The drawback is fuel production. Antiprotons must be manufactured one particle at a time. Most antimatter production is done at a massive solar array orbiting energetic stars, making them high-value targets in wartime. Ah, I see. The exhaust of fusion and antiproton drives is measured in millions of degrees Celsius. Any vessel caught behind them will melt like wax in a blowtorch. Any long-duration interstellar flight consists of two phases, acceleration and deceleration. Starships accelerate to the halfway point of their journey, then flip 180 degrees and apply thrust on the opposite vector, decelerating as they finish the trip. The engines are always operating, and peak speed is attained at the middle of flight. Dear fucking God. We're almost getting done. Weapons, a blade of armor. A warship's kinetic barriers reduce the damage of solid objects, but can do nothing to block guardian lasers, particle beams, and other forms of directed energy weapon. DEW. D-E-W. The inner layer of warship protection consists of a blade of armor plate designed to boil away when heated. The vaporized armor material scatters a dew beam, I'm just going to call it dew, rendering it ineffectual. A scaffold is built around the interior pressure hull with sheets of a blade of armor hung from the structure. Ships typically have multiple layers of armor separated by empty baffles. Spaces are often used for cargo storage. Cruisers, which lack the internal space to fit dedicated fighter hangars, store the shipboard fighter complement in the baffles. It is not unknown for enlisted crew to build illicit alcohol distilleries in some obscure corner of the baffles, safe from prying eyes. Do tell. Biotic Amps. Biotics manipulate mass effect fields using dozens of element zero nodules within their nervous systems that react to electric stimuli from the brain. Amplifiers allow biotics to synchronize the nodules so they can form fields large and strong enough for practical use. Amplifiers can improve a specific discipline or talent. An implant is a surgically embedded interface port into which amps are plugged in. That sounds really painful. It probably is. On humans, the implant is usually placed at the base of the skull for convenient access, though the user must be careful to keep it free of contaminants. Implant ports can fit a variety of amps, and there is a growing market for modifications and add-ons. The finest quality implants and amps are manufactured by Asari artisans, but the Alliance's L3 implants, first deployed in 2170, are a significant step forward. Communications, oh my god, fuck you. Real-time communication is possible thanks to networks of expensive mass relay comm buoys that can daisy-chain a transmission via lasers. Comm buoys are maintained in patterns built outward from each mass relay. The buoys are little more than a cluster of primitive, miniature mass relays. Each individual buoy is connected to a partner on another buoy in the network, forming a corridor of low mass space. Tight beam communication lasers are piped through these tubes, in quotation marks, of FTL space, allowing virtually instantaneous communication to anywhere on the network. The networks connect across regions by communications lasers through the mass relays. You don't say. With the system, the only communications delay is the light lag between the source or destination and the closest buoy. So long as all parties remain within half a light second, 150,000 kilometers, of buoys, seamless real-time communications are possible. Since buoys are maintained in all traveled areas, most enjoy unlimited instant communication. Ships only suffer communications lag when operating off established deep space routes around uninhabited outer system gas giants and other settled areas. During wartime, comm buoy networks are the first target of attack. Once the network is severed, it can take anywhere from weeks to years to get a message out of a contested system. In systems where a buoy network has not yet been built or has been destroyed, rapid communication means ferrying information through high-speed courier ships and unmanned data drones. Sounds a little bit unsecure, if you ask me. While comm buoys allow rapid transmission, there is a finite amount of bandwidth available. Given that trillions of people may be trying to pass a message through a given buoy at any one time, access to the network is parceled out on priority tiers. The Citadel Council and the Spectres have absolute priority. If they are using all the bandwidth, everyone else must wait. Individual governments and their militaries enjoy the next highest tier. During wartime, civilian communication can suffer hours or even days of lag. Jesus Christ. Intelligence agencies study ping time through various systems to predict military buildups. Below the governments and militaries, bandwidth priority is sold to the highest bidder. That really sucks. You guys needed fucking... you guys needed net neutrality badly in this universe. Whatever. Media conglomerates, particularly headline news networks, purchase higher priority to provide their viewers with timely information. Corporations that require timely information and response capability, for example, financial institutions and investment firms, also invest heavily in priority access. The funds acquired through sales of bandwidth are used to maintain and expand the communications infrastructure. While everyone with a computer has guaranteed free and unlimited access to the galactic extranet, that was the literal opposite, they are last in line for bandwidth and may have to wait for the request to be processed. Bandwidth resale corporations use investment capital to purchase blocks of high priority access made available by paid subscription. I'm getting really fucking tired of reading all this. I'm soldiering through it, but goddamn. No one wanted me to read this either, so I'm just doing this at my own, like, behest. Whatever. Creds. The standard credit was established by the Citadel's Unified Banking Act as the currency of interstellar trade. The credit has a managed floating exchange rate, calculated in real time by the central bank to maintain the average value of all participating currencies. Some regional currencies are worth more than a credit and some less. Hard currency can be stolen or counterfeited, so electronic fund transfers are the norm. More importantly, physical transactions cannot be easily tracked, making them ideal for tax evasion or the purchase of illegal goods. When the Alliance joined the military, its various national treasuries were linked into the credit network. A human with a bank account of Mexican pesos, Japanese yen, or Indian rupees can purchase any item priced in credits at a fair market value. All economies that participate in the credit network are required to price items in both local currency and credits. Oh my god, that's everything. But unfortunately, I just noticed something. No! No! Oh my god. Oh. I need to take a drink of water. This is gonna be like another 20 minutes. Everyone watching the VOD, skip. Sorry, I just chugged a bunch of water. Sorry for that. Sorry for drinking water.
The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. They can attune their nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity.
I drank too much water and now I feel kind of gross.
Asari can live for over 1,000 years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors. The second species to join the Citadel, the Solarians, are warm-blooded amphibians with a hyperactive metabolism. Solarians think fast, talk fast, and move fast. To Solarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Solarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Solarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellions several centuries later. Solarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on. Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel space, and they make up the single largest portion of the Council's military forces. As their territory and influence has spread, the Turians have come to rely on the Solarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy, the ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other 2 races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. There is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the 2 species are allies,
I'm so
and they
grateful
enjoy
this
civil,
guy is reading
if
all
cool,
this shit for
diplomatic relations.
This is like a break for me. This is literally like a smoke break.
50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kaje, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens. Though now extinct, the Rachni once threatened every species in Citadel space. Over 2,000 years ago, explorers foolishly opened a mass relay to a previously unknown system and encountered something never seen before or since, a species of spacefaring insects guided by a hive mind intelligence. Unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful, and the galaxy was plunged into a series of conflicts known as the Rachni Wars. Attempts to negotiate were futile, as it was impossible to make contact with the hive queens that guided the race from beneath the surface of their toxic home world. The emergence of the Krogan ended the Rachni Wars. Bred to survive the harshest environments, the Krogan were able to strike at the queens in their lairs and reclaim conquered council worlds. But when Krogan fleets pressed them back to their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender, and the Krogan eradicated them from the galaxy.
Cool.
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space. The Geth are a humanoid race of networked AIs. They were created by the Quarians 300 years ago as tools of labor and war. When the Geth showed signs of self-evolution, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them. The Geth won the resulting war. This example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligences in galactic society. The Geth possess a unique distributed intelligence. An individual has rudimentary animal instincts, but as their numbers and proximity increase, the apparent intelligence of each individual improves. In groups, they can reason, analyze situations, and use tactics, as well as any organic race. Geth space is located at the trailing end of the Perseus Arm, beyond the lawless Terminus systems. The Perseus Veil, an obscuring dark nebula of opaque gas and dust, lies between their space and the Terminus systems. The Hanar are a Citadel species known for excessive politeness. They speak with scrupulous precision and take offense at improper language. Hanar that expect to deal with other species take special courses to help them unlearn their tendency to take offense at improper speech. All Hanar have two names. The face name is known to the world. The soul name is kept for use among close friends and relations. Hanar never refer to themselves in the first person in conversation with someone they know on a face name basis. To do so is considered egotistical, so instead they refer to themselves as this one, or the impersonal it. Their homeworld, Kaje, has 90% ocean cover and orbits an energetic white star, resulting in a permanent blanket of cloud.
I didn't die, trust me.
Due to the presence of Prothean ruins on the world, many Hanar worship them, and Hanar myths often speak of an elder race that civilized them by teaching them language. When the Asari discovered the Citadel, they also discovered the Keepers, a docile, multi-limbed insect race that seemingly exists only to maintain and repair the Great Prothean Station. Early attempts to communicate with or study the Keepers were failures, and it is now illegal to interfere with or impede Keeper activity. Because they are completely non-threatening, Keepers have become virtually invisible to everyone else. Similarly, they seem indifferent to other species, except for their tendency to help new arrivals integrate themselves into the Citadel. No matter how many Keepers die due to old age, violence, or accident, they maintain a constant number. No one has discovered the source of new Keepers, but some hypothesize they are genetic constructs, biological androids created somewhere deep in the inaccessible core of the Citadel itself.
Damn, that's crazy.
The Krogan evolved in a hostile and vicious environment. Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology, so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds, even though these worlds were already inhabited. The Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today the Krogan are a slowly dying breed. Understandably, the Krogan harbor a grudge against all other species, especially the Turians. Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the Pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
If you think I give a fuck, I don't.
The Volus are a member species of the Citadel with their own embassy, but they are also a client race of the Turians. Centuries ago, they were voluntarily absorbed into the hierarchy, effectively trading their mercantile prowess for Turian military protection. Erun, their homeworld, lies far beyond the normal life zone of its star. However, the world has a high-pressure greenhouse atmosphere that traps enough heat to support an ammonia-based biochemistry. As a result, the Volus must wear pressure suits and breathers when dealing with other species, as conventional nitrogen-oxygen air mixtures are poisonous to them, and in the low-pressure atmospheres tolerable to most species, their flesh will actually split open.
Gross.
Volus culture is tribal, bartering lands and even people to gain status. This culture of exchange inclines them to economic pursuits. It was the Volus who authored the Unified Banking Act, and they continue to monitor and balance the Citadel economy.
Alright, we're getting there.
After the Geth secure a location, they round up and impale dead and living bodies on mechanical spikes. The spikes rapidly transform these victims into withered husks, extracting water and trace minerals, and replacing them with cybernetics. The cybernetics reanimate the lifeless flesh and tissue, transforming the bodies into mindless killing machines. Some Alliance soldiers refer to the husk-generating spikes as dragon's teeth, a reference to the mythological berserkers who sprang up from the earth wherever the teeth of the dragon Eris were planted. Dragon's teeth and husks bear little resemblance to other pieces of Geth technology. No one is sure why a synthetic race would bother to drain the minuscule amount of recoverable resources from organic corpses, though the value of reusing them as shock troops is obvious.
Oh, that was it. I thought that was longer.
The Citadel is an ancient deep space station, presumably constructed by the Protheans. Since the Prothean extinction, numerous species have come to call the Citadel home. It serves as the political, cultural, and financial capital of the galactic community. To represent their interests, most species maintain embassies on the Presidium, the Citadel's inner ring. The Citadel Tower in the center of the Presidium holds the Citadel Council Chambers. Council affairs often have far-reaching effects on the rest of the galactic community. 5 arms, known as the Wards, extend from the Presidium. Their inner surfaces have been built into cities, populated by millions of inhabitants from across the galaxy. The Citadel is virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms to form a solid, impregnable shell. For as long as the station has existed, an enigmatic race called the Keepers has maintained it. The Council is an executive committee composed of representatives from the Asari Republics, the Turian hierarchy, and the Solarian Union. Though they have no official power over the independent governments of other species, the Council's decisions carry great weight throughout the galaxy. No single council race is strong enough to defy the other two, and all have a vested interest in compromise and cooperation. Each of the council species has general characteristics associated with the various aspects of governing the galaxy. The Asari are typically seen as diplomats and mediators. The Solarians gather intelligence and information. The Turians provide the bulk of the military and peacekeeping forces. Any species granted an embassy on the Citadel is considered an associate member.
We're all getting lore
bound by
here.
The accords of the
At
Citadel
this stream,
conventions.
we are getting
Associate
fucking
members
lore.
may bring issues
okay?
to the attention of the Council.
We're getting
though
the
they have
fucking
no
lore.
input on the decision. The Human Systems Alliance became an associate member of the Citadel in 2165. Spectres are agents from the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance, and answer only to the Citadel Council. They are elite military operatives, granted the authority to deal with threats to peace and stability in whatever way they deem necessary. They operate independently or in groups of 2 or 3. Some are empathetic peacekeepers, resolving disputes through diplomacy. Others are cold-blooded assassins, ruthlessly dispatching problem individuals. All get the job done one way or another, often operating outside the bounds of galactic law. The Spectres were founded after the Salarians joined the Council. For many years they operated in secrecy as backroom problem solvers. Only after the Krogan rebellions did their activities become publicized. Assignment of a Spectre is less contentious than a military deployment, but makes it clear that the Council is concerned about a situation. Humanity's first contact with an alien race occurred in 2157. At that time, the Alliance allowed survey fleets to activate any dormant mass relays discovered, a practice considered dangerous and irresponsible by Council-aligned races. When a Turian patrol discovered a human fleet attempting to activate a relay, they attacked. One human vessel survived, retreating to the colony of Shanxi. The Turians followed, quickly defeating the local forces. Shanxi was occupied, the first and to date only human world to be conquered by an alien species. The Turians believed the handful of ships they defeated represented the bulk of human defenses, so they were unprepared when the Second Fleet, under Admiral Castany Drescher, launched a strong counteroffensive, evicting them from Shanxi. The Turians mobilized for full-scale war, drawing the attention of the rest of the galaxy. The Council quickly intervened, forcing a truce. Fortunately for humanity, the First Contact War was ended with a diplomatic solution. The Systems Alliance is an independent supranational government representing the interests of humanity as a whole. The Alliance is responsible for the governance and defense of all extrasolar colonies and stations. The Alliance grew out of the various national space programs as a matter of practicality. Sol's planets had been explored and exploited through piecemeal national efforts. The expense of colonizing entire new solar systems could not be met by any one country. With humans knowing that alien contact was inevitable, there was enough political will to jointly fund an international effort.
I said
Still, the Alliance was often disregarded by those on Earth
I'm almost done with the
until
Codex.
the First
That's
Contact
a lie.
War.
I know it is.
While the national governments dithered and bickered over who should lead the effort to liberate Shanxi, the Alliance fleet struck decisively. Post-war public approval gave the Alliance the credibility to establish its own parliament and become the galactic face of humanity.
I love lying so much.
Pharos is a habitable world in the Attican Beta Cluster. 2/3 of the habitable surface is covered with the ruins of a crumbling Prothean megatropolis. In the millennia since the Prothean extinction, the ruins have been repeatedly picked over by looters many times. Pharos was considered a poor prospect for colonization, as little open ground remains for agriculture. The only sizable freshwater sources are the poles,
Mars!
which are tapped by the decaying Prothean aqueduct systems. The dead cities, while in good condition considering their antiquity, are of uncertain stability. Ground level is congested by a dozen meters of fallen debris, and the air is fouled by dust. In 2178, the Human Exogeny Corporation announced its intention to place a permanent colony on Pharos to thoroughly explore the ruins. The pioneer settlement was placed on the upper levels of several intact skyscrapers, using the surviving Prothean aqueducts and rooftop hydroponic gardens to support the population.
Cool.
The terminus systems are located on the far side of the Attican Traverse, beyond the space administered by the Citadel Council or claimed by the Human Systems Alliance. It is populated by a loose affiliation of minor species, united only in their refusal to acknowledge the political authority of the Council or adhere to the Citadel conventions. Their independence comes at a price. The terminus is fraught with conflict. War among the various species is common, as governments and dictators constantly rise and fall. The region is a haven for illegal activities, particularly piracy and the slave trade. At least once a year, a fleet from the terminus invades the nearby Attican Traverse. These attacks are typically small raids against poorly defended colonies. The Council rarely retaliates, as sending patrols into the terminus systems could unify the disparate species against their common foe, triggering a long and costly war. Biotics is the ability of rare individuals to manipulate dark energy and create mass effect fields through the use of electrical impulses from the brain. Intense
didn't we
training
literally just
and
read this
surgically
earlier?
implanted amplifiers
Oh
are
my God,
necessary
whatever.
for a biotic to produce mass effect fields
I read
powerful
this shit
enough for
already.
practical use. The relative strength of biotic abilities varies greatly among species and with each individual. There are three branches of biotics. Telekinesis uses mass-lowering fields to levitate or impel objects. Mass-raising kinetic fields are used to block or pin objects. Spatial distortion uses rapidly shifting mass fields to shred objects. Most organic species are capable of developing biotic abilities, though there are risks involved. Biotics are the result of an in utero exposure to element 0. This usually causes fatal cancers in the victim, but in rare cases, it coalesces into nodules within the fetus's developing nervous system.
Cool.
An artificial intelligence is a self-aware computing system capable of learning and independent decision-making. Creation of a conscious AI requires adaptive code, a slow, expensive education, and a specialized quantum computer called a blue box. An AI cannot be transmitted across a communication channel or computer network. Without its blue box, an AI is no more than data files. Loading these files into a new blue box will create a new personality, as variations in the quantum hardware and runtime results create unpredictable variations. The Geths serve as a cautionary tale against the dangers of rogue AI, and in Citadel space, they are technically illegal. Advocacy groups argue, however, that an AI is a living, conscious entity, deserving the same rights as organics. They argue that continued use of the term artificial is institutionalized racism on the part of organic life. The term synthetic is considered the politically correct alternative. A virtual intelligence is an advanced form of user interface software. VIs use a variety of methods to simulate natural conversation, including an audio interface and an avatar personality to interact with. Although a VI can provide a convincing emulation of sentience, they are not self-aware, nor can they learn or take independent action. VIs are used as operating systems on commercial and home computers. Minimal VI agents are also available. Agents are compact and specialized. Some serve as personal secretaries, filtering calls and scheduling meetings based on user-defined priorities. Others are advanced search engines, propagating themselves across the extranet to collate user-requested data. Commercial VIs in a variety of stock personalities are available at any software retailer. Boutique firms and hobbyists also build unique VIs to personal specification. Although software emulation of living personalities is illegal, reconstructions of famous historical figures are common.
Gross.
Mass relays are feats of Prothean engineering advanced far beyond the technology of any living species. They are enormous structures scattered throughout the stars and can create corridors of virtually mass-free space, allowing instantaneous transit between locations separated by years or even centuries of travel using conventional FTL drives. Primary mass relays can propel ships thousands of light years, often from one spiral arm of the galaxy to another. However, they have fixed one-to-one connections. A primary relay connects to one other primary relay and nowhere else. Secondary relays can only propel ships across a few hundred light years. However, they are omnidirectional. A secondary relay can send a ship to any other relay within its limited range. There are many dormant primary relays whose corresponding twins have not yet been located. These are left inactive until their partner is charted, as established civilizations are unwilling to blindly open a passage that might connect them to a hostile species.
I must have slept weird. I only just noticed, too.
Combat hard suits use a dual-layer system to protect the wearer. The inner layer consists of fabric armor with kinetic padding. Areas that don't need to be flexible, such as the chest or shins, are reinforced with sheets of lightweight ablative ceramic. The outer layer consists of automatically generated kinetic barriers.
Planets this stream?
Objects traveling above a certain speed will trigger the barrier's reflex system and be deflected, provided there is enough energy left in the shield's power cell. Armored hard suits are sealable to protect the wearer from extremes of temperature and atmosphere. Standard equipment includes an onboard mini-frame and a communications, navigation, and sensing suite. The mini-frame is designed to accept and display data from a weapon's smart targeting system to make it easier to locate and eliminate enemies. Kinetic barriers, more commonly called shields, provide protection against most mass accelerator weapons. Whether on a starship or a soldier's suit of armor, the basic principle remains the same. Kinetic barriers are repulsive mass effect fields, projected from tiny emitters. These shields safely deflect small objects traveling at rapid velocities. This affords protection from bullets and other dangerous projectiles, but still allows the user to sit down without knocking away their chair. The shielding afforded by kinetic barriers does not protect against extremes of temperature, toxins, or radiation. A mass accelerator propels a solid metal slug using precisely controlled electromagnetic attraction and repulsion. The slug is designed to squash or shatter on impact, increasing the energy it transfers to the target. If this were not the case, it would simply punch a hole right through, doing minimal damage. Accelerator design was revolutionized by Element Zero. A slug lightened by a mass effect field can be accelerated to greater speeds, permitting projectile velocities that were previously unattainable. If accelerated to a high enough velocity, a simple paint chip can impact with the same destructive force as a nuclear weapon. However, mass accelerators produce recoil equal to their impact energy. This is mitigated somewhat by the mass effect fields that rounds are suspended within. But weapon recoil is still the prime limiting factor on slug velocity.
2 more fucking entries. 2 more fucking entries, guys.
Medigel is a common medicinal salve used by paramedics, EMTs, and military personnel. It combines several useful applications: a local anesthetic, disinfectant, and clotting agent all in one. Once applied, the gel is designed to grip tight to flesh until subjected to a frequency of ultrasound.
I'm going to make a note of when I finish all this Codex shit, and I'm going to put that timestamp in the VOD of this.
The gel is a genetically engineered bioplasm created by the Certa Foundation, a medical technology megacorp based on Earth.
No one.
Technically,
I mean, granted, you could probably find what
council
the
laws
Codex
against
is
genetic
anyway,
engineering, but to date, it has proved far too useful to ban. All modern infantry weapons, from pistols to assault rifles, use micro-scaled mass accelerator technology. Projectiles consist of tiny metal slugs suspended within a mass-reducing field, accelerated by magnetic force to speeds that inflict kinetic damage. The ammo magazine is a simple block of metal. The gun's internal computer calculates the mass needed to reach the target based on distance, gravity, and atmospheric pressure, then shears off an appropriate-sized slug from the block. A single block can supply thousands of rounds, making ammo a non-issue during any engagement. Top-line weapons also feature smart targeting that allows them to correct for weather and environment. Firing on a target in a howling gale feels the same as it does on a calm day at the practice range. Smart targeting does not mean a bullet will automatically find the mark every time the trigger is pulled. It only makes it easier for the marksman to aim.
Alright, break's over. Look at that. Codex no longer highlighted. Isn't that great? What does my journal say? Oh, just this. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'll do it just so that way it stops being highlighted. I'm tired of the highlights. You know what the sickest, most disturbing part of all of this is? Hey Joker, what's going on?
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
I've gone through these conversations several times in my life, so...
knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my
the very
file,
funny
I earned every single
NFT
one. Those
jokes
weren't
here.
given to me as charity for my disease.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic, but I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you like the sound of snapping shin bone.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Oh, he's so funny.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody
Feels
knows
a little,
exactly what causes it. Genetic maybe.
Feels a little
It's treatable,
insensitive
but there's no cure.
to have this
Classified
conversation,
my case
but
is
whatever.
moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures. Hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
Cool. Bye.
I have to go.
Hey, you see that little thing on the right? You know what the good thing about that is? It confirms that I haven't spoken to Joker in this playthrough yet. Since I was worried for a second that I had, and I was just going over shit again.
The Normandy is a prototype starship developed by the Human Systems Alliance with the assistance of the Citadel Council. It is optimized for scouting and reconnaissance missions in unstable regions using state-of-the-art stealth technology. For most ships, the heat generated through standard operations is easily detectable against the absolute zero background of space. The Normandy, however, is able to temporarily sink this heat within the hull. Combined with refrigeration of the exterior hull, the ship can travel undetected for hours or drift passively for days of covert observation. This is not without risk. The stored heat must eventually be radiated, or it will build to levels capable of cooking the crew alive. Another component of the stealth system is the Normandy's revolutionary Tantalus drive, a mass effect core twice the standard size. The Tantalus drive generates mass concentrations that the Normandy falls into, allowing it to move without the use of heat-emitting thrusters.
Sorry, one second. Alright. Well, let's go talk to every fucking crewmate we have, and Navigator Presley. And also some other people, for fuck's sake, and who cares?
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, ma'am, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
What do you even mean?
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were at Elysium during the Skillian Blitz. A massive fleet of alien raiders hit the colony, trying to wipe it out. They had the numbers, but their ships were no match for an Alliance frigate. It was a slaughter. We couldn't even keep track of how many ships they lost.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Anyways, there was one more that I wanted to see.
I trust you, Commander. If you think they belong here,
speak freely.
Oh, okay, I can't.
Commander.
Okay.
Carry on, Presley.
All
yes,
right, Codex. Did somebody say fucking Codex? Okay, I have to actually read this one, unfortunately. It's this entry. Okay. Humanity has encountered many galactic species wars. Humanity has encountered many galactic species. Wars have been few, but mistrust is rife. Politically, the Alliance is a peaceful trade partner of the Turians. I don't know why Turians is capitalized, but whatever. As a practical matter, however, there is a simmering antagonism and bigotry between both populations over the First Contact War of 2157. The Alliance enjoys good relations with the Asari, though many privately believe the matriarchs are aristocratic and overcautious. Though humans know better than to unconditionally trust any Solarian, their shared reckless ways make them natural allies against conservative Turians and Asari. I thought Asari were libertarians. Whatever. The Grogan have no unified government, but individuals are generally treated as potential criminals, a reputation most Krogan enjoy living down to. The Alliance has no formal contact with the Quarians. Their migrant fleet has not yet passed through any human-settled system. The Batarians are rivals for control of the Skillian Verge. They severed their treaties with the Citadel to prosecute a colonial conflict against the Alliance. Officially, there is no war, but neither is there any peace. Okay, well, so the Batarians are all uniformly evil, because that's nuance. Whatever. Do I have to talk to Chakwas? I don't remember if I have to. Whatever. I could probably talk to her anyway, and we'll live if I've already talked to her before. If I've already done this shit, then I will survive. Can you? Thank you. We also have to talk to my future lover and husband. But that's not for let's talk to Chakwas first. Medigel, no Codex. The Codex must be found, everyone. Okay, hi Chakwas.
Yes, Commander?
I don't remember if I've... The problem with this, like, game is that I asked these questions on my off-stream playthrough, and I don't remember if I did it on-stream now. Whatever.
How did you end up serving on an Alliance
I'm gonna
ship?
assume I haven't asked any questions.
I enlisted right out of med school. Earth always seemed boring to me. Too safe, too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls. Turns out military life isn't quite as romantic as I'd imagined. But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse, and the Alliance always needs good doctors. So I stayed on to do my part.
Cool.
Ever think you made the wrong choice?
Sometimes I think about opening a private practice back on Earth, or maybe taking a position at one of the new med centers out in the colonies. But there's something special about working on soldiers. If I left the Alliance now, I'd feel like I was abandoning them.
How well do you know the Lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission, but he has an impressive service record, over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
An L2? What's that? Even though I should know
to do with
this.
it?
Because I have
most
biotics.
biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What complications?
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Caden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
Alright, that's it.
I should go.
No Codex! I don't know. I'm the most boring person on planet Earth. I know. Okay. There was stuff I examined over here that I've already examined. I've already remembered to forget.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough.
Have I already talked to you?
We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better.
I guess I must have. Okay.
Alliance
did I already talk to everyone else too? I don't remember. I truly do not recall. It's been long enough and it's not important enough to remember. Whatever. I can check with everyone again just to be safe. First, let's talk to you.
Hey, Commander.
Hey, Commander needs some blah 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 blah.
Well, as long... Hell, the
I'm
licenses
sorry. I
alone
probably
set me back
should have.
more than
I
like.
probably should be listening to this, but I don't care.
Many of the best licenses are hard to get. There are too many for me to keep track of.
Okay.
Many of the best licenses are. Check back
show
often.
me.
You
Okay.
bet.
I can't buy any of the good stuff, so it's not even worth checking. But I still checked. Isn't that funny? Hey, Codex! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for being this way.
Biotics is the ability. Omni-tools are handheld devices that combine a computer microframe, sensor analysis pack, and manufacturing fabricator. Versatile and reliable, an Omni-tool can be used to analyze and adjust the functionality of most standard equipment, including weapons and armor, from a distance. The fabrication module can rapidly assemble small three-dimensional objects from common reusable industrial plastics, ceramics, and light alloys. This allows for field repairs and modifications to most standard items, as well as the reuse of salvaged equipment. Omni-tools are standard issue for soldiers and first-in colonists.
Cool. Well, that was short and sweet, wasn't it? Okay, did I already talk to you, Garrus?
Thanks for bringing me
I
on
didn't.
board,
He wouldn't have said this.
I knew working with the Spectre.
He would not have said this. So yeah, we haven't talked to all the party members. That's what I thought.
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way.
See, this is what I mean when I say fast cop.
That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that.
I get it. I get it, man.
But as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
Oh, we got him. Oh, cool. Codex. Oh, cool. First, let's talk to Garrett. Okay.
Commander.
Yeah, we pissed him off by telling him not to do that. Okay. Anything over here? Alright. So, about that Codex, Mako.
The Normandy is... The Mako infantry fighting vehicle was designed for the System Alliance's frigates. Though the interior is cramped, an M35 is small enough to be carried in the cargo bay and easily deployed on virtually any world. With its turreted 155mm mass accelerator and coaxially mounted machine gun, the Mako can provide a fire team with weapon support as well as mobility. Since Alliance Marines may be required to fight on any world, the Mako is environmentally sealed and equipped with microthrusters for use on low-gravity planetoids.
I like the Mako.
The Mako is powered by a sealed hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell and includes a small Element Zero core. While not large enough to nullify the vehicle's mass, the core can reduce it enough to be safely airdropped. When used in conjunction with thrusters, it also allows the Mako to extricate itself from difficult terrain.
Alrighty. Ashley, what do you have to say?
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
They have flashlight heads, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
What does that mean in this context? They have flashlight heads. Like, that's... whatever.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duty squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Okay. Thanks for that, I guess.
Ma'am.
Nice ship you've got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story.
I hate that question.
Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I love how there's, like, the only option is to be a complete fucking dipshit. Like, when talking to Rex about this.
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to
I always
fight.
think it's interesting.
So we leave.
How this like
ourselves out.
How this game, this setting kind of humanizes what you would maybe consider a stereotypical barbarian race, you know? I think that's interesting. It's a shame that they do have generic like fleshed out barbarian races in the later games, but we'll get there. Well, in this game too, because the fucking Batarians are like almost unilaterally portrayed as just fucking criminals and evil and duplicitous and whatever. Fuck it.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one, and no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
Oh, he's got us there.
Krogan. Would he rather
I'm literally not going to explore any planet this stream, am I?
Credits?
It's been almost 2 hours and I'm getting tired.
It's just
God
who
damn.
we are, Shepard.
I hate myself so much for that. Like, I really did this stream and it's like, oh, I'm gonna explore some planets, and then I didn't.
So long, Rex.
Whatever. Hey, it's Codex. It's fucking Codex. It's Codex, everyone. The genophage bioweapon was created to end the Krogan rebellions. From the start, the Krogan had overwhelmed the Council. Only timely first contact with the Turians saved the Council races. The Turians fought the Krogans to a standstill, but sheer weight of the Krogan numbers indicated the war could not be won through conventional means. The Turians collaborated with the Salarians to genetically engineer a counter to the rapid breeding of the Krogan. The genophage virus gained the energy to replicate by eating key genetic sequences. Every cell in every Krogan had to be altered for the weapon to be foolproof. Otherwise, the Krogan could have used gene therapy to fix the affected tissues. Once a genophage strain could find no more genes to eat, it would starve and die, limiting spin-off mutation and contamination. This created genetic flaw is hereditary. The Salarians believed the genophage would be would be used as a deterrent, a position the Turians viewed as naive. Once the project was complete, the Turians mass-produced and deployed it. The Krogan homeworld, their colonies, and all occupied worlds were infected. The resulting mutation made only 1 in 1,000 Krogan pregnancies carry to term. It did not reduce fertility, but offspring viability. The rare females able to carry children to term became prizes the Krogan warlords fought brutal battles over. The Krogan are a shadow of their former glory. While the rebellions took place centuries ago, they are constantly reminded of the horror of the genophage and their inability to counter it. The release of the genophage is still controversial, bitterly debated in many circles. Yeah, I would say it's pretty fucked. Pretty capital F fucked, but that's just me. What do I know? I mean, I'm just a person with an opinion. I don't know. High element core 0. Hey, look! You know what this means? Hey, look! You know what that means?
Hey, Commander,
what the fuck was that
know
facial
Solarian
glitch?
Tally?
Whatever.
She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll talk to her.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Time to get more Codex.
Fill me in on the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster-than-light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Where else have you served, Adams?
Yeah, Engineer Adams, the most important
I've probably
Mass Effect
served
character.
on. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on. Probably the fastest vessel ever designed. She's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
That was everything. Bye.
Carry on, Adams.
Hey, look! Can someone say Codex? There's nothing I can examine over here, right? Okay. Alright, we'll talk to Tally, then we'll check the Codex, and then that's the stream, everyone.
Your ship's
Oh my god, I'm
amazing.
going to commit
I've never
suicide.
seen a drive core
Because
like
I
this
just
before.
made the worst stream of my
I can't
life.
believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is
I'm just saying, women should be allowed to romance Tally. I don't think she would be. I don't think she'd be straight. I think Tally would be bi. I'm just throwing. You know, I'm just gonna say it. Maybe even a lesbian.
Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Cool.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
The Conclave?
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction.
I'm sorry for being so fucking
fleet
non-responsive during the stream. It's just no one's here. I've heard this dialogue millions of times, so I have nothing of value to say about it. I have nothing to contribute because I know exactly what she's going to say. I know exactly where this conversation is going to go. I can't make any more unique, interesting dialogue about it. At least when I'm doing the Mako, I can like talk about random shit. But I don't want to talk over Tali outside of like apologizing for this. So, yeah, I think the Admiralty board is a really cool concept, though. So.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
Sure.
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
Like a hive mind,
so there's
like
some
a
sort
hive
of
mind, like a hive
nothing
mind.
Like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations.
If I have to see this fucking guy getting pissed on by at least 2 different penises one more fucking time on my dash, I swear to God, why is every gay man into piss? What is the appeal? What is the appeal? Whatever.
Existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue.
Does anyone else think that Fight Club is kind of overstated in terms of like hatedness? Okay, I get that Fight Club fans can be annoying, but I feel like you could say that way more about like Star Wars fans. I don't know why Fight Club has its own unique hate. I don't even like Fight Club that much. I think it's too long of a movie, and I think it kind of gets muddled at points. But I don't know.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them.
God, it's already 11 p.m. It feels like I just... This just simultaneously felt like the longest and shortest day of my life.
The rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when the gift is not particularly valuable.
I wonder who I should romance in Dragon Age Inquisition. However, I feel like I don't want to romance Dorian again, but also
it's not the best.
I don't know. It's either Dorian or Iron Bull. I don't give a shit about anyone else.
Don't return until
I like Cassandra, but I don't like romancing her. It doesn't. She feels like a lesbian. Like she feels fully in the closet. So I don't know.
Just send you off alone.
It's like Iron Bull and Dorian are like bad in completely unique and polar opposite ways. Like I don't know.
And given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants.
And I must admit, I must be honest. The worst part about Dorian, or not Dorian, Iron Bull, is that he's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. I'm sorry. I can ignore Iron Bull being voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. until someone told me that he has a diaper fetish. And now it's like, I just can't unhear it. Now it's just like, oh, Iron Bull, the diaper fetish voice actor guy? No thanks.
And the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Are we done yet?
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
Alright.
I should go.
Look at all that Codex I just got. Are we having fun? Okay, once I finish this Codex, that is the stream, everyone. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're enjoying this thrilling stream. Oh my god. The migrant fleet has little economic base, operating in a state of perpetual hand-to-mouth. While Quarian ships include light manufacturing and assembly plants, they lack heavy industries such as refining and shipbuilding. The fleet has tankers for water purification and oxygen cracking, but the space-intensive nature of agriculture limits food production. A single disaster could destroy the fragile balance. The Quarians earn income in creative ways. Don't make me sick. Because the government is obliged to provide food, water, air, and medical support for every individual. Oh my god, I wish I lived in this universe. The Conclave strategically determines the course of the fleet to bring in resources and income. A species who suspects the migrant fleet is heading towards their space often offers a gift of surplus starships, fuel, and resources to convince the Conclave to alter a course. So they bribe you not to be annoying. Okay. That's probably racist, but speciesist, whatever. Let's just say xenophobic. That's the easiest way to do it. As the fleet passes through a system, swarms of mining vessels work over asteroids for metals and silicious materials and cometary bodies for water, ice, and organics. Quarian miners are adept at locating and strip mining spaceborne resources. The sequel to Bloodborne. This sparks conflict with corporations already working the system. Large mining concerns spend millions on lobbyists and public relations, portraying the Quarians as locusts, devouring the resources of a system before moving on. Ah, more xenophobia. Cool. I mean, do I have to even say that this is pretty much analogous to how the Romani people are like the racism that they're experiencing in modern day culture, and have for you know, decades upon decades and maybe even centuries. The greatest asset of the Quarians is their rarefied skills. Most are experienced miners. Due to their life of perpetual salvage and repair, they are skilled engineers and technicians. More than once, the very corporations that lobby against the Quarians have made backroom deals with the fleet, arranging for skilled Quarians to fill space engineering jobs that other species would demand higher wages for. You know, I just realized it kind of sucks that Tally is the literal only Quarian of, like, any, like, companionship you get to meet. And I mean, I guess you could say that for, like, Garrus, too, because he's the only Turian. If you don't count Vetra for that one DLC, which I don't. Because, like, yeah, the Asari, the Krogan, they all get an extra party member. I guess the Solarians, too. I feel like you get way too many fucking humans in this game, but whatever. Quarians are widely hated among the working classes. The Quarians are coming to take our jobs as a common response to the fleet's approach. We can also say that the Quarians have an analogous relationship to the illegal immigrants, like, politicized nature in the early 2000s to late 2000s to currently still. So yeah. Quarians government. Due to the Quarians' precarious existence and the need to enforce strict rationing, government is somewhat autocratic. The migrant fleet's operations are directed by the Admiralty, a board of 5 military officers who are advised by a legislative body called the Conclave. Each vessel in the fleet has the right to send representatives to the Conclave aboard the flagship. The number of representatives is based on crew size. Larger clans with bigger ships and more votes form the cores of political blocs. Opposition comes from the Outriders Coalition, with delegates from thousands of smaller ships. Admiralty defers to the Conclave's decisions in most circumstances. However, if all 5 members agree that a Conclave decision jeopardizes the survival of the fleet and cannot get the Conclave to address their concerns, they have the right to summarily overturn the legislative decision. Again, I think this is fucking fascinating politically, and it's a shame we never get to see anything more about it until the next game, and even then, the next game, it's not really that interesting. Or at least, like, it's not done very well, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of potential here, just politically. And I think it's really interesting. Like, what do you mean by, however, if a decision jeopardizes the survival of the fleet? Does that mean that there's, like, a limit to, like, even if they all agree, if it doesn't necessarily jeopardize the survival of the fleet? Does that mean their decision doesn't go through? Do they not have that right until the Conclave is like, provably not listening or, like, not able to address their concerns? You know, there's a lot of room to go here. And it's like, it feels almost wasted, you know? I guess there's an argument to be made that Mass Effect Andromeda might have developed more on it because of the canceled the canceled Quarian fleet connection, or it's Quarian arc, but I don't, whatever. That's beside the point. Andromeda is a game that I'm gonna pretend doesn't exist until it does. Where was I? After the Admiralty uses this extraordinary power, they must resign. If the Admiralty does not step down after using their veto, the rest of the military is obliged to arrest them. Each ship captain has authority over his vessel, but is advised by an elected civilian council, just as the Admiralty is advised by the Conclave. This relationship may range from cooperation to polite tolerance to outright hostility, but any captain who overrules his council without good reason is relieved of command by the Admiralty. Many Quarian ships are owned by clans who pool their resources to purchase used vessels from private sellers. Large ships are prestigious for big, rich clans, but a small ship means status for a small clan with enough personal wealth to afford a private vessel. Clan vessel captains are not subject to dismissal by the Admiralty. Abusive captains are a family problem if they do not disrupt the operations of the fleet. Quarian's Migrant Fleet. The Migrant Fleet is I love how they're just using a picture of Tali for every single Quarian thing. It's like, she's literally the only Quarian character in this game, I think. I literally can't think of any other Quarians in this game. So, whatever. The Migrant Fleet is the largest concentration of starfaring vessels in the galaxy, sprawling across millions of kilometers. It can take days for the entire fleet to pass through a mass relay. When the Quarians fled their homeworld, the fleet was a motley aggression of freighters, shuttles, and industrial vessels and the odd warship. After 3 centuries, all have been modified to support larger crews as comfortably as possible. As the Quarians achieved stability, they began weeding out the ships least suitable for long-term habitation, selling them and pooling the money to buy larger and more space-worthy hulls. This process is ongoing as vessels wear out and break down. If you want to read about a much more dark take on the idea of having no homeworld to return to and living out in space and having to worry about resources and allocation of like fuel and stuff, I would recommend The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu. It's the second of a trilogy, but it does tackle this concept in a very fascinating way, and I loved reading about it. I love The Dark Forest. I love that book, even though it does have some problems. It really does, but I adored that book. Anyway. This process, blah, blah, blah. While some ships enjoy dedicated cabins with full privacy and sanitary facilities, many more are former freighters whose cargo bays and containers are pressurized and divided into family spaces using simple metal cubicle bulkheads. The Quarians live in I'm assuming it's live in these austere spaces with colorful quilts and tapestries, which also help muffle the sound. The day-to-day operations of the fleet, traffic control, station keeping, supply distribution, and so on, are under military jurisdiction. Though ship captains have the authority to deviate from their assigned positions and may leave the fleet at any time, they are assumed to do so at their own risk. As the Migrant Fleet moves around the galaxy, many ships split off to pursue individual goals, returning days or years later. Is that the last one here? Okay, so then the rest are just primary, right? Yeah, okay, cool.
Faster than light drives use element zero cores to reduce the mass of the ship, allowing
well,
higher
let's just
rates
do it
of
again. Fuck it.
acceleration. This effectively raises the speed of
I
light
can't be
within
positive,
the mass effect
so...
field, allowing high-speed travel with negligible relativistic time dilation effects. Starships still require conventional thrusters, chemical rockets, commercial fusion torch, economy ion engine, or military anti-proton drive, in addition to the FTL drive core. With only a core, a ship has no motive power. The amount of EZO and power required for a drive increases exponentially to the mass being moved and the degree it is being lightened. Very massive ships, or very high speeds, are prohibitively expensive. If the field collapses while the ship is moving at faster than light speed, the effects are catastrophic. The ship is snapped back to sublight velocity, the enormous excess energy shed in the form of lethal Cherenkov radiation. Larger warships are generally classified in one of 4 weights. Frigates are small, fast ships used for scouting and screening of larger vessels. Frigates often operate in wolf-pack flotillas. Cruisers are middleweight combatants, faster than dreadnoughts and more heavily armed than frigates. Cruisers are the standard patrol unit and often lead frigate flotillas. Dreadnoughts are kilometer-long capital ships mounting heavy, long-range firepower. They are only deployed for the most vital missions. Carriers are dreadnought-sized vessels that also carry large numbers of fighters. Smaller vessels are almost exclusively used in a support role to the warships during combat. Fighters are one-man craft used to perform close-range attacks on enemy ships. Interceptors are one-man craft optimized for destroying opposing fighters.
Cool.
Biotics is the ability of... When subjected to an electrical current, the rare material dubbed Element Zero, or EZO, emits a dark energy field that raises or lowers the mass of all objects within it. This mass effect is used in countless ways, from generating artificial gravity to manufacturing high-strength construction materials. It is most prominently used to enable faster-than-light space travel. EZO is generated when solid matter, such as a planet, is affected by the energy of a star going supernova. The material is common in the asteroid debris that orbits neutron stars and pulsars. These are dangerous places to mine, requiring extensive use of robotics, telepresence, and shielding to survive the incredible radiation from the dead star. Only a few major corporations can afford the setup costs required to work these primary sources. Humanity discovered refined Element Zero at the Prothean Research Station on Mars, allowing them to create mass effect fields and develop FTL travel. Element Zero can increase or decrease the mass of a volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With a negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effect. In space, low-mass fields allow FTL travel and inexpensive surface-to-orbit transit. High-mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low-mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high-mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. The military makes extensive use of mobility-enhancing technologies, with Mass Effect utilizing fighting vehicles standard frontline issue in most military forces. Mass Effect fields are also essential in the creation of kinetic barriers or shields to protect against enemy fire.
Hooray! That's all the Codex! Oh my god, we did it! Oh my god, and it only took 2.5 hours, actually. Alright, guys. Are you ready? Are you fucking ready? We're gonna go finally explore. We're finally going to explore. Look at how dead I am inside. We're gonna finally explore some planets. Are you ready? So we're going up the stairs. Oh, we're opening the door. Oh, the door is opening. And then we're gonna open the galaxy map and